This is the psychedelic colors. And today I finally got the numbers that plug into this one. This is one of the ones I don't like to use. Tell them why. It's not just psychedelic. It's because it's paranoid. It says paranoia. Now, paranoia and me, we go way back. I know what paranoia is about. I know fucking paranoia, what it's gonna do when I experience it, if I let it run amok, start getting paranoid, and then pretty soon, you're all fucking freaked out. So I try not to empower it. You know what? And sometimes that's a mistake. Usually you're on track. Usually if you just is that Shackleton in their story? There's these weird fucking things that from my perspective in the driver's seat of my body, in that experience, I'm experiencing some real fast and phenomenal shit. But with synchronicities, someone who I think to some degree I'm the excellent person for my task. My mission, I know what my mission is. I know what a main part of it is. I'm good at putting a trickle into a trickle down effect. Because with trickling, you kind of know what you're expecting. You drop something from up high, let it fall and hit the floor. You know what you're dealing with. But when you start pushing that same sort of flow away from where gravity normally goes, and you can do that. You can do that. It's not even that difficult. I know I'm in the thousand of times having trying to articulate this feeling right now, and I stop a certain part of me for a long period of time, expecting there to be in mankind some sort of redemptive quality. It's like I had seemed to lost my faith in mankind. Period. Because we're a fucking mess. Human being, we're a mess. You're not going to be able to get. There's certain things that this world, the experience of being human, is that limit. Now, you can be limited, you could be put in some real harsh conditions. But what did they said it on one of these shows? They said, and when I heard it, I knew they were talking to me because I've experienced this. They're like, the point of life is for the divine to become aware of itself and bring that acting outside with miracles element to the equation, to bring the supernatural into the natural world, to activate that. And a lot of people don't even try to do shit supernatural, which is why they don't do anything supernatural. But you can do things supernatural. You may not always do the things that you want to do, but you have to begin to try to do things that are outside of the scope of what is thought to be natural. Right or wrong? The answer is right. That's that simple. And no, most people don't try to do anything like, do you practice telepathy with anyone? Do you try? I mean, seriously, do you? I mean, because I am trying. And some of the new things that I've even begun to try today was communicating openly to the tree. It's actually two trees because there's two Chinaberry trees out here, and I say thanks. The one that I'm not directly talking to, not that I couldn't, but I'm kind of going through the other tree to talk to this tree. It might be disrespectful from the human perspective, but from this perspective that I'm at, it seems like it's okay. But I'm shining the light on it now because I have a basic understanding of what people think, and then I have to I have to actually say no, I don't. I have the program. I was tested, and due to my condition, what condition my condition is the blessing is this: I'm dyslexic, flips my thinking in my head around, forcing me because of the fucking nuance of language and the parlance of the times to have to translate, inverting my language from my thinking to speaking, and there's still some, you can tell. Some people say, "Oh, you sound like you're talking like in the old times, like back in the days," and that's kind of true in a way. It's like how Spanish is backwards. Donde es Juan? Where's Juan? Where's Juan? Donde? That's not a good one because you said donde first, and that's uh, I took away all these magazines that come and just started to burn them because they were starting to stack up on me. And these motherfuckers had some crazy programs. There are two that I did not dispose of. One is the archaeology one, which is here, this is very strange because what is this? I think it is an eagle knight. This is a statue of him, though. This is actually pretty badass. Watch out for the paranoia, it gets in the way. But it's just loaded with some badass shit from the. I love archaeology. I think it's fucking fascinating. I'd love to go on some fucking expedition or something, and I would love it. So I can go in my mind. Don't sound stupid. Actually, I'm not. I'm not being stupid at all. I'm actually saying what I'm going to experience, but in a different context. We were talking about these video games. Here's the Nintendo set. What is this? The lore of games. The lore of games includes 1974 Who's Who of video games. A bunch of dudes with one gamer chick. The one gamer chick has the biggest hair of all. I'm on the team. Don't objectify her. You will be castrated. Hell, I will. I ain't objectify nobody. It's kind of like being racist, or are you being chauvinistic? I'm overtly trying to be that way to poke fun at it. She's got that cornbread, as seen here. That's down on the floor with her chipping and breaking. You dusting that shit? Yes, she is. She's using the thing. Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. That's true. And also, I realized when I was listening to the lady who's I shared her channel. I forget what her name is. I can't think right now. There's been a lot going on, but I've kind of got a hardwired response to already be outside of my comfort zone. Oh, blessing! Oh, are you sharing with us this? Yes, yes, I am, because it has to start somewhere. None of this is going to be paranoia. You see these bubbles? My paranoia is that I'm trying to show you something to keep you from being paranoid, and then this crazy color just comes in. But kind of like into your mind the same way. You know, if in your mind, if I have a positive thought, I say, Kelly looks great. And then I got four of these fucking thought forms come at me. Nuh-uh, you look like shit. You're not shaved. You're fucking busted lip. Your teeth are dirty. Four negative comments of conversation emanate. And the only reason why there would be even be one that would contend with my will is should be what the fuck I said I'm gonna do, and I do it. If I start to doubt my own self, the paranoia that is being shown here in these things, the context is paranoia, like you're paranoid because you're a fucking pothead or whatever. Well, if you're a murderer or something like that, you'll be paranoid too because you're doing murders. It's against the law. And you will consequently as well lose paranoia if it becomes normalized and society's been significantly pushed by the pressures. If I need to pressure someone into doing something that makes them uncomfortable, like, hey, why don't you, hey, is that your mom over there? Hey, why don't you take this pencil and go stab it in her throat? Because I said, if they actually go and do that, and if I was the being to push that line and make that causality occur, it's the fact that I would have to do that, and I would have to ante my fucking. I'd have to push my pieces to that place on the board, and then be able to actually make that sacrifice. Unfortunately, and both fortunately and unfortunately, I still believe because I'm being shown, and it's not been a single time that this hasn't panned out and been the case. If I come into that weird contract with my higher self right here, open and allowed, like before the air and all the, I did that today too. When I went into, I had to go to an area where I had been late yesterday. I didn't make it. It got dark. Now I thought maybe I lost my keys out there, and it's danger. It is dangerous. Go in there like I went in there. I went in there with the right tools, and I immediately got on my knees and I prayed and I communicated with both the invisible angelic realm and the invisible, very present around me, spiritual unseen realm. And I asked for help, and I made it through there. And what's weird about making it through there is there's a type of balancing going on because I wouldn't even be able to go into that environment barefooted like I did and make the journey I did because I have one plant that I'm already like an ally. It's my ally. It's this weird nut plant. It's like a horse nut or whatever the fuck it is. It's a hard, tough nut, inedible motherfucking ass. You won't die. It's not poisonous, but it's poisonous. It's kind of poisonous. Some of the you're getting exposure and you're having to break and use as food. You have to be uh, you have to be in contact with it. It's an environmental toxin that in the healing modality of take one for the team, the shamans do this for their tribes, which are people that of different thinking. You don't want to have to go and negotiate with demonic entities and go into that sort of realm. So most people shouldn't because demons are winning the numbers game, and their leader, whoever it may be, whichever angel actually is qualifying as being the adversary. If I had to guess, I'd say it'd be Enlil again. I think they just swapped the roles. But I think of two brothers, they always play the polarity. And I don't think we want any of the off world beings back on Earth having contact with humans. Because if you can't take any help from them. There's nothing that they can do to help you that's not very costly to us human beings. because we're actually spiritual beings that way outrank these so-called angelic fallen beings on this planet, the Anunnaki. That family, that family is low as hell on the totem pole, because all of us, all you weird people that are transgender, now no disrespect, but to call you weird, let me point it out. Like, you're a spirit. You've been free. You still kind of are free. They're entangling you because they know, and they're evil, and they know what they're doing. They're trying to lead you astray on matters that are very simple. The human condition basically hasn't upended itself in things like this in a very long time. And usually, when that begins to occur, it doesn't matter if you were a woman in your past life and you just want to fucking get dicked. That may be the case. But if you're a man, you got to learn how to want to fuck just so you can stop. You don't, if you're fighting with nature to do the dance like that, number one, it's your ego. I mean, what the fuck does your sexual preference have to do with me? I'm only obligated to love thy other as self. And I'm with Candace on this one, Candace Owens. These people, it makes me, she's a little more scary because some of the way she said it sounded like she's like, who are you doing this and that? You're at the playground with no kids. I'm going to be watching you. Well, great. I'm glad somebody's fucking watching them. But I like to go to the playground myself too. But I'm not a raper. Sometimes I play with other people's kids. I don't mean like I go there to meet their kids. That's not what I'm saying. It's important for a woman to have that watchfulness. And, she said, stay away from my family. So, like, that's the role she's playing. And I'm appreciating it. But, the fact that she's got to, we still have to overcome to root out the deception from the human realm. Like, what is the foreign spirit that's actually acting on all of us and isn't physically here? That's actually more interesting because you can see this thing is acting through humans that are disadvantaged. Like uh, the fat baby faces of people we're seeing. Because the shit that they're doing, they're yelling obscenities at themselves like a fucking psychopath. It is psychopathy. It is. And people that like it aren't your friends. If they want you to do it, then they want you to do this thing that is very bad for you and harmful, then they're not good. They're not good. She's like, I don't want to be friends with you. She mixed in the conversation where they were talking about dating, and then if it just boils down to friendship. No, I don't mind being friends with somebody that's a female if I like her and she's worthwhile being a friend. That's why I have very few female friends. But the ones I do have, I'm a good friend to them. A lot of times they're attractive though. In this new period of what I'm not used to having to experience, uh, just being friends with them is enough to induct the feelings of passion in my mind. That is to say, I think about fucking them or something inappropriate because I like women. And even women that aren't like fucking supermodel hot can be supermodel felt like they were hot. And that's a different thing. If you actually experience the person as a fucking hot ass model or whatever your creepy fetish is, in a way, it's not a creepy fetish that's not then cleaned. Because when you provide truth by exposing your whatever the fuck it is, and if it's something sexual that can make you feel weird or make you look weird, in public, there's a dynamic there that is like useful to overcome when it happens. So if you, the moment that you just start doubling down and fighting those battles in the way that wins them, because I don't have any interest in that topic. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. So I'm real good at following the orders that I'm given in that subject matter area. Because I know you're not going to catch me stealing your homosexual fucking sex under no circumstance. You're not, it's not going to happen. Sorry. And I don't think it's that important for people to have this much freedom in this area where there's a boundary issue, but not for the people that are taking advantage of it. You are the ones that are going gender queer and all that shit. I don't want you around my kids either, but I don't even get to be around my kids, so it doesn't matter what I want. But if you're not interested in why people are creeped out about not wanting their kids around you, and you seriously aren't into raping and molesting kids and shit, I think you should be. I think you could prove that. I don't think it would be very hard either. I think if you have problems in doing that, um, I'm going to be suspect of you too with Candace. I'm going to be like, and I'm all right with that. If that's the new line, you know. People just didn't know it wasn't appropriate to have sex with 9-year-olds. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you knew. You know. Sometimes that guy, like, there was a video about a guy, and he was like, the shit he was saying was so aggressively. I want to have sex with kids. I want them to be dominating me. He thought the irony was silly. Like, but they're just kids. What can they do to me? It turns me on. I'm like, that's disgusting, and it's disgusting like sick. I'm sorry, it is. The kids don't know about sex, and you're gonna fuck them up if you do that, because what you're doing is just telling a kid to do anything that you want. When I'm telling you, they're not trying to have sex with you, dumbass. They're not. And if they are, it's because they're the programmer and they've already been abused. And I don't think it's the adults that they're trying to do that to. I think it's other kids, and I think we all know that. That's why it's evil.